Sorry, this is part two. My storage ended, and by the way, immediately as I tried to empty whatever pass to just create space, because I take pictures of all the manipulation they make me have. They and there's a picture of like these sick kids that they made me have some nasty reaction toward. I'm like, okay, and they got quiet. It's like this is the nasty things you do. But by the way, you just heard that there's this technology in the first part that can rewire the brain. People literally calls out the pedophilia type of torture. The reason why I say things like pedophilia type of torture is because other target individuals have said pedophilia type of torture. So you gave validation that these tactics of rewiring the brain and stimulating target individual and aim those stimulation toward children is validated by others.
This is the alteration of the smell sensation, so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my
tactic of belief systems of the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds.
Somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. It's this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing.
And even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today, they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use. A people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals.
You heard that? As I was listening to this, you hear them, you're going to be castrated. It's like, I'd rather get castrated. Oh, and then you hear this trash. No, they are. It's like, yes, they are something that you guys have been doing consistently. You heard that even when interviewing multiple thousands of target individuals, majority of them say they do the child porn implant in their mind. This technology is rewiring the thought process, is rewiring the brain for this cognitive type of warfare where we're test subject to. And you have clowns coming in all shape or form, try to gaslight you, this trash. And for me, you heard somebody, there's 4 tactics of piping in voices. Once those voices are piped in, they can start rewiring your thought process. When they say 4, they're like, no, we mapped it to you. Remember what you did as a kid? And now the argument is like, no, we're making your brain because you remember what you did as a child, that age, by the way. Let me just give you an idea of what age we're talking about. This age. That we mapped it. No, you are manipulating my brain. And you guys actually torture 4-year-old kids, you piece of shit. And they are here, you'll serve. Yes, I'll be framed by people involved in a program that rewires their brains in this disgusting pedophilia, was involved in a program that literally rapes women every day, sexually assault them in ways that are so disturbing, then torture children, and then try to play this fun times like, now you'll serve. No, you're going to have framed me. Because you do the foul things for these pedophiles. By the way, the entities running this program, guess what? 19th out of 2,900. I will say that 100 times because it means the 19th out of the most child porn trafficking. And they have this trash to try to make themselves think that what they're part of is just like this daring group of fierce femme fatale. You are low-life trash involved in a program that torture babies and force people to experience nasty reaction toward children. Then you have this low-life shit that they contract. So now we mapped it, now you manipulated, and you can't even say Roy Moore. And you are renowned to do this pedophilia type of torture, and you're a clown because now I can fuse your picture and have people like that. Making it look like we observing, just clowns, children. When you get validation that level, I'm so thankful that I get to see things for what they are, what I can. Now, right now, what they're saying, and they're using their tonality. You're gonna serve because they're having a child here saying, or they're creating some, like my phones are hacked, big time. So they can create this like this communication that's probably happening, conversation that's probably happening. I have no idea, and they're talking to these losers that they empower, some children, and prepping these frames. And yeah, live this life. We know that this is the most brave, daring things. Clown ass shit. I pray that they live this disgusting life for the rest of their life. Humiliated by reality that they are working for the pedophiles, they are pedos, and they do mapping coming from people with so much child porn issues. Trash ass. Target individuals, stay strong. This is why I say thank you, God. Because these people are the pedos, what they are calling you pedo. You know what? You can you are so validated that they are the pedos. To the point that there is a bill called End National Defense Network Abuse Act, you low-life pedophiles. Because there's so much pedos in the DOD, which obviously run this show. Now this fucking retard that try to play the fan fatale. These people who say, yeah, abuse, when they're out here suffocating. You want to hear the torture of the children? You want to hear what they do to babies? As they say, yeah, abuse. This is the horrible things they do to children. Listen to how nasty they are.
Speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture.
Young children,
For
7-year-old.
several months, she would cry and scream horribly
This trash
during our
outside
therapy
said, yeah,
sessions, despite having a great
involving
day at
that.
school. This was highly unusual behavior
Trash
for
low
her,
life.
as she
Tell
usually
me
behaved very
how
well
they're
during
gonna
her
frame
therapy
me and
sessions
say, are you
and had
raping
been
me?
making
Yes, low
incredible
life. Do
progress
this
on
and
all
be
of her
involved in
therapy
this
goals.
program
This was
before you
used
die.
to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream
7-year-old
and cry,
kids.
etc.
Make them scream and cry.
They would make the kids act out the kinds of torture
Torturing
that would
them.
later be done on me.
And here this low life try to counter that.
For example, they would also sometimes make her bite her hand, threatening to make me bite my hands, as they often do.
Sexual
One day, she had a
torture.
large, severe bite mark on her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, ow, and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture.
7 years old, autistic.
One day, I also
Gasping
observed
for air.
her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I...
You know what they say to counter that? You're gonna be asping something sexual. These people live life countering reality. And they're like, no, we feel so bad. I don't care what they feel. I just don't want you to think you this fantasy of femme fatale when you're involved in this.
I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while.
7 years old, and these people are still trying to play this femme fatale, angry.
Right after I saw this child being suffocated,
A 7-year-old
then I began to
autistic
experience
kid.
very extreme suffocation all day, every
So when I
day,
see them
for
acting
about 2 months
this
straight,
like,
and that's
I'm like,
also when they
please,
made it worse when I eat.
don't do that.
And I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well
Down
as her
syndrome,
5-year-old
4-year-old,
sister,
and
who also
5.
has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls
Both of
suddenly
them
grabbing
sexually
their genitals
tortured.
in pain and
And say-
verbalizing, ow. I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions
Yep.
for each of them during their separate sessions.
Yep. You're gonna hear a 3-year-old.
During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he...
While this is happening, you hear this person sessions. They start talking via V2K to try to counter this. If you see who's talking to me, are fucking losers that you can't even understand. Some of these people talking to me, they have asthma. Well, they have trash. And then you play this fan debate there. And they send these losers that feel special. Oh, you're gonna lose when you frame you. Yes. Because you're so good, that's why. It's not because this governmental entity is running this program. Then try to make me think of this ex-perp of mine who's so good in denial, like, really, who's gonna read the New York Times? And today they're like, no, why she was looking at his phone because she was saying this thing that, they mapped it. It's like, yeah, okay, I don't care. And basically it's trying to say that what I'm experiencing today, they mapped it. So, what? So what was I not experiencing in then when she was looking at his phone? Why was I able to see a child and not get these nasty reactions? Because this nasty manipulation started being implemented on August 19, 2019, and she knew it was going to be implemented. Target individuals stay strong and see them for the low life that they are.